Well, hey there, all you jabronis. On today's show of What the Hell Do I Know, we sit down with fellow podcaster and author Rich Sanders, host of the Christian Capitalist. We dive into where faith meets free markets and why generosity and grit go hand in hand and what Christian capitalism really means in a modern world. Buckle up. It's going to be a deep one. So let's give a warm jabroni applause to my friend, Rich Sanders.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah.
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
Yeah, baby. Hey, let's get the timer going. I totally forgot about that, but hey, that's just part of the show.
No, you never know how long we might go.
That's one of those little errors.
You never know
where we just made it happen.
We just made it happen.
Yeah, that's right. That's no big deal. We're here.
We just gotta see how long we go. Sometimes
we're a $10 podcast.
Yeah, with a timer.
$10 podcast with a really nice timer.
Well, let's just know.
Yeah, Rich, your time expires in an hour. So
you got 1 hour.
Well, and if it's like my podcast, we got a little thing in the corner. It's been 0 days since our last technical difficulty, so just reset.
Reset.
We know what that feels like.
You just keep it at 0.
Keep it at 0.
We never have any problems.
Never
a problem. We're always.
I just want to say though, you're getting really bad at vetting the guests. You got a Roll Tide guy on right now.
Right?
Yeah, I'm frustrated
There's
about
a Georgia-Alabama game this year, like
in Athens.
Yeah,
In Athens. It's going to be good.
It's probably like 5,000 a ticket.
That's for the nosebleeds.
They've already given it a night game in Athens. Like it's crazy. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane.
Can't wait.
I don't know that I'm going.
Yeah, that'd be a good TV watching one day.
I just feel like they're going to feel my presence a lot better from the TV. They will.
Sounds like a great weekend to have a wedding.
Yeah,
there'll be weddings galore that weekend.
Not in the South.
Not invite me.
Not in the South.
Exactly.
But everybody I meet from seems to be from Alabama. We just live so close.
It's Lower Alabama, yeah.
It's Lower Alabama.
Alabama.
Yep.
Welcome
Well,
to
it's
LA,
funny
baby.
though you mentioned that, Juice. Rebecca and I are blessed to have 3 kids. Our oldest one, James, just graduated from the University of Alabama in May, so we're very proud of him.
Heck yeah, what do you go to school for? What is he doing?
He went to school for English, and right now he's trying to figure out ways to monetize his degree.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's a dad way of putting it. But,
Yeah. I like it. I like
so no, he actually is doing great. He lives here in Destin for now, working at Bass Pro Shops and working at Sandestin. So
Oh,
he's got
well,
a
I'm
good
a
job.
Bass Pro Shop Black Card member holder, so I
Right
probably
on.
see him all the time.
Exactly.
Juice has bought a lot from that
Exactly.
store.
Yeah.
Just
get a
ask
free
for
gun a
Mr.
year, man.
Sanders.
Yeah, well, like,
That's
who?
right.
Who? I know your dad. So, but
awesome.
hey, I do want to welcome everybody to our floors.com studio. That's, Floors is your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering, remodel, or new build. That's FLOOR.
Double Z.
Z.com, baby. And so you got to check the floors.com, folks. They are so good. Government discount. They can take care of you for 5%. That. That's 5% government. You just have a government ID. I mean, I don't know what that's about because I don't have a government ID.
I don't either.
However, if you have a government ID, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. You
Get that
plug that
discount.
in. They give you a discount. Somebody's tracking you. It is what it is.
Well, I have 3 government IDs. I don't think any of them count towards the discount.
I think I agree. I think it's your.
I might have 4 actually.
I think it must be some sort of like first responder ID. I
It's
think
a
teacher.
actual
There's like
legit
some sort of
military,
code, right. That
Right.
you can enter in and get 5% off. And man, they ship your floors anywhere across these.
So Rich gets 5% off.
Yeah, Rich, you could.
Good job,
yeah,
Rich.
absolutely.
We'll see.
Floors.com.
If I can figure it out, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's easy. We make things complicated. You'll figure it out.
Well, I keep talking to Mike. I had dinner with him the other day, and he was telling me that he's going to get us like a jabroni discount.
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Wow.
and knock it out. And he said there's been people that have answered the phone and they're like, "Hey, the jabroni sent me," and he's
They're like,
and the people on the call is like, "Who the heck's are the jabroni?"
We need to have them.
Wow.
He's like, "I need to let
what's
them
up."
know. I need to let them know that
right.
I've been sponsoring the podcast."
Well, it's because the whole sign's not in the background of your shot. That's why nobody knows, right?
Yeah, it's just
Exactly right.
oars.
We're
It's
getting
just
just a little bit.
oars.com.
Oars.com, which allows you to paddle really well.
Yeah,
that's
It's
right.
oars.com. Yeah. But But any rate, Rich, we are back to the show. We are super glad that you are here.
Thank you.
And it's been great getting to know you over the past several months now. I had an opportunity to be on your podcast, the Christian Capitalist podcast, which post edit we'll be throwing up all those little nuggets of where they can find your YouTube page and all that stuff, and even your book by the same name, The Christian Capitalist, which we have here on our table. I don't know if we've got a shot of
a beautiful
it's probably the wide angle. We've got a shot of the book sitting on the table.
And thank you for bringing that along as a prop. I appreciate it.
Juice has one.
Buy a copy.
Yeah, buy a copy.
Man, that's about the size of book I can read right there. If I'm anything bigger,
it's
right there. You know, why do you got to go all long?
And we use short words.
I'm nuggets,
just to make
man.
it accessible.
Short words.
I'm bullet points.
So good.
260 pages, 250.
That's
you can
my
get this
kind
at the
of book.
website or Amazon. Where you get this bad
You
boy
get it
at?
on the Amazon and on website.
Perfect.
That's right.
Yes.
And for those who don't, because this is a thing now.
Yeah.
For those who don't like to actually flip the pages anymore, there's an ebook, a Kindle.
Okay.
You
on
read
Amazon.
it. You did it. You
Yep.
did the reading.
and did the audiobook.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. See, I love it when the author
Great.
reads the book.
Yeah.
That
It was so
is
much
great.
fun.
You got
Way
a good
better.
voice also, like
Yeah.
our last
You do.
couple.
Like
Yes,
Joe
Joe's-
Courtney, he had a great voice too. Yeah,
He needs to
that's
read
right.
his book.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That was a lot of fun. But I got to tell you, that experience of being in a studio in Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
My cousin Danny's a music producer and editor there, and referred me to his friend, now my friend Chris Thomason, who has a very, very highly sophisticated studio.
Sure, he does.
yeah.
And
Sure he does,
and
yeah.
he is devoted to the Lord and
Yeah.
spreading the word through sound.
That's great.
It's fantastic. But standing there in a studio for 3 days reading that book, which I wrote every word, man, I was amazed at how difficult that was.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, I speak for a living, right? I'm a retired lawyer. I'm a pastor. And they said, you're going to read 100 words, 100 pages a day, and then you're going to be knocked out. I'm like, nah, come on. I speak for a living. Sure enough, 100 pages comes by. I'm like, I got to go home.
It's mentally exhausting. It has to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough. That's
Y'all
really
probably know
tough.
some of the same people from that area then. Franklin, that's Nashville,
Could.
right?
Yeah, Franklin is where, when I recorded it, it was over in Dark Horse Studio right there outside of Franklin. And it was a
Okay.
beautiful barn
Yeah.
that had all these different recording studio rooms.
Yeah.
And it was an old barn that the guy had turned into it. I mean, some great performances had come out of Dark Horse for sure. And some of the greatest songwriting ever.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean,
Yeah, that
it's-
area's talented.
Well, I wrote songs there, so
I got to tell y'all, just because we're guys and guys tend to be competitive,
Really?
I'm getting my butt kicked by Reba McEntire.
come on,
Whoa.
baby.
I am.
Come on, baby.
Well, one of the claims
But
of
it is
fame,
Reba.
Exactly. One of the claims of fame of this studio is a couple weeks before I went in there to read my book.
Yeah.
Reba McEntire was in there reading her
Oh,
book.
no
the new
way.
one that just came out last year.
That's
Probably
Not
a
So
lot
Fancy.
longer.
Yeah.
She's done a little better than me.
Well,
Yeah.
she's had
But-
some hits on the radio, like for 40 years.
Right.
So it's been pretty
TV
good.
show.
TV
Yeah.
show, shows, plural.
She's reading 150 pages a day.
yeah, she can do 150.
Knocking them out.
Exactly.
That's great. No, that's so good, and I want to dive into all those things. I want to dive a little bit into your podcast. I want to dive, and again, I loved shooting that podcast with you, and you were an incredible interviewer, and so
Thank you.
people should go and check out your podcast, and you're doing a lot of really good work, and we're going to dive into like the word Christian capitalist, because I know there's people that are going to listen today that are going like, that is an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're going to dive into what you like. I love the title because it puts you, it's kind of sits you up straight and is like, what's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
So I think it's so good. So we're going to dive into that. But
Great.
before we do, it's now time to play. What the hell do I know with Rich Sanders? Seven
yeah.
questions.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
7 questions, rapid succession. We're going to put the clock on. No gotcha questions. You can pass if you need to.
Okay.
All right. So here's the clock. Here we go. Which TV character would make the best small group leader?
Alex Keaton from Family Ties.
Love, very good. Wow. More intense. Shark Tank pitch or church potluck drama?
Church potluck drama.
What's your walk-up song if you're entering a podcast debate stage?
Living on a Prayer.
You're nailing this. You are nailing this. Would you rather binge The Chosen or The Office this weekend?
The Chosen.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
If Chick-fil-A started a church, would you be a member?
Only if I could get a number one before every service.
On Sunday.
Yes, exactly.
On Sunday.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
man.
Yeah. They've got those great bags that can keep it warm too,
they
right?
can.
Yeah.
So, who's more influential, Dave Ramsey or Kanye Yee on a Sunday?
I'm going to say Dave Ramsey.
All right,
A whole lot
all
of
right.
people do Financial Peace University after church.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
yeah. Which superhero would make the best pastor, and why is it Captain America? You're off the hot seat.
I love that.
That's good.
That's fantastic. So I got a funny story about church and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
I was serving at a church in suburban Atlanta during my time at seminary. I went to Emory. And this is a little storefront church that the Diocese of Atlanta had said, let's put this kind of in a neighborhood where there's a real strong international community, and we're going to make this an international friendly church. So we go out there, and everybody is from a different country.
Yeah.
The Caribbean, Southwest Asia.
Yeah.
The pastor that I worked for as my mentor was from Pakistan. And the bishop had a great sense of humor about this. He's
Sure.
like, what says international ministry better than a big white guy from Alabama? Right? So I'm out there. I'm having the time of my life. It was great. I mean, it was kind of like the church that you talked about setting up. I mean, it's a storefront.
Yeah.
And we're next to a tattoo parlor
That's
and a cell phone store.
Yeah, yeah.
Folding chairs, the whole 9 yards. But in the parking lot was a Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
heck
nice.
yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times, fellas, I'd be standing up
Yep.
there doing my sermons, trying to figure out how to preach, and I'm looking across through these big plate glass windows at the Chick-fil-A, and on the back, there's the drive-through window,
Yep.
and there's somebody waiting.
Oh,
And I'm like,
wow.
I just wanted to go out there and say, they're closed,
They're
but
closed.
we're open.
Come on in. That's so good.
Do you ever want a Chick-fil-A sandwich more, though, than after church?
It's always on Sunday.
It just
You
feels
always-
right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
Oh, my
I
goodness.
had the privilege of having Truett Cathy as my Sunday school teacher.
That's
as our
right.
guest.
Wow.
I've never heard
Founder
that.
of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Seventh grade, he was my
Founder
my
of
Sunday school-
Chick-fil-A.
Sunday
Man.
school
Yeah.
Sunday school teacher, and then his son Dan Cathy. He had another son and a daughter who's a missionary, but Dan, who became the CEO and then chairman after his father passed, and now his son is the CEO of Chick-fil-A. I think Dan's still the chairman, but Dan Cathy was my 11th grade Sunday school teacher, and Dan took us to a basketball game one time after church. After Sunday school class, took us to like great seats at like a Georgia Tech basketball game. I mean, it's Georgia Tech, whatever. But
They used to be good.
but
Yeah,
they,
they're
were
good.
actually
They were
really
good.
good.
Tech's good at
No,
basketball.
They were
Yeah.
really good. I'm just a Georgia guy. So
Yeah, that's right.
it is what
Right,
it
right,
is.
right.
But on the way up there, we stopped at the Dorff House. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever heard, if
Yeah.
you know the Dorff House.
Yeah.
Jews
Yeah, I
may
I know
not
it's in
the Dorff House.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's an Atlanta thing. It's
Right
kind of
near
like
the
a
airport.
Chick-fil-A restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can get things that aren't on Chick-fil-A's menu. They have a fast service side that's Chick-fil-A side, but then they have a sit down waiter,
Really?
and
Wow.
some extra items that are not on Chick-fil-A's menu that Truett developed that you can get, like what's that thing that's like really bad for you? I can't even remember.
Chicken
it,
and
but-
waffles?
Hot brown. The
Hot
hot
brown.
brown. The hot brown. It is so good. It's so
awesome.
What was
good.
it, hash browns?
No, it's like this creamy stuff that's 1,000,000 calories and chicken and breading, and it's just
It's an open-faced
like
sandwich,
I
you
got
know?
love.
Oh,
it's
my
like
God.
maybe, but it's deeper than this. It's in a dish. It's just
Wow.
it's so
What
good.
was Chick-fil-A founded? Like the mid-90s? I don't know.
So I'd have to go back and look. I
Like
almost
early
hate to
90s
say
maybe?
it. I'd have
Something
to
like that?
look. I'd have to look it up because
Yeah.
I just almost hate to say what the time was because I feel like it may have been earlier than that. I
Yeah.
mean, Truett had one
Back in the 50s.
It could
In the 50s?
It could have been after like a
Holy
World War
moly.
II or something of that nature.
Oh, I
but
didn't know that.
He had one spot that he called the Dorff House Grill, and they did hamburgers and things like that. And he developed this idea of the chicken sandwich.
I got
and,
you.
And creating his version of that chicken sandwich, and it's right there by the airport in Atlanta.
Right.
And he
but
served
Juice,
a lot of
what
people
you may
there.
be thinking of is when it really kind of exploded,
Yeah, exploded.
nationwide
Oh, yeah.
was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I
Yeah.
saw one.
It was one of the
Yeah.
original restaurants
Malls.
in a food court, right?
Malls.
Yeah,
Right,
malls.
that's-
Food
that
court.
is the
Malls.
first
and
place I
closed
saw
down
it, yeah.
and closed down, and
Yeah.
so he got when
It
he got his
was in the
break.
mall.
But that was where it really exploded. You're exactly
Yeah.
right. So, and actually, I think like Greenbrier Mall was probably in the 80s when he
Yep.
got in there as his
Yep.
first one. But great story. So in that, I only say this because he stopped at the Dorff House Grill, opened it up, and I had Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Wow.
One of the few.
That's
Had Chick-fil-A
pretty
on a Sunday.
rare.
Wow.
He didn't sell it. There were no employees.
Yeah.
But we went in. He pulled us some Chick-fil-A off. We sat
That's
there in the
awesome,
Dorf House
dude.
Grill, and we had Chick-fil-A.
8 states and raw
A Chick-fil-A
chicken, dude.
sandwich
Isn't that
on
something?
Sunday morning.
Wow.
baby.
Man.
After Sunday
It
school.
beats my method of getting one on Saturday and putting it in the fridge.
Yeah, I know,
Trying to
right?
warm it up, that
I always
never
thought about
works.
starting that business, right? It'd be illegal as crap. But, bootleg them on Sunday. dude.
Sunday sales of Chick-fil-A. Resales. That's great.
All right, so let me ask you two questions about that. I mean, it's your show, but if I may.
No, please. No.
What's Truett Cathy known for?
Truett is known for several different things. One of them, he had this food should be good, so we ought to make it, or food is essential, so we ought to make it good. That was one statement that I think's in everything. And the other one, which he put all on, like almost everything he gave us as a kid, was a message from Proverbs. He says, greater is it to have a good name than all the riches. And he put that into his book. He gave us a book at the time when he had just written. It's called "It's Better to Build Men Than Men, or Better to Build Boys Than to Mend Men."
Isn't that cool?
And it's a great book, and inside of it, he put that scripture in it and signed it. I don't
I've
think I
never
have
met-
it because I had no clue who he was
who he
back
was.
then, and
Back then.
Yeah.
And like you were
13
just
years
saying,
old.
he built this huge business
Yeah.
that's now everywhere.
Yeah.
Beck and I were, my wife Rebecca and I were in Times Square last year in December to celebrate Amazon #1 status for the Christian Capitalist. We got a
No
billboard
way.
in Times Square. It
Oh,
was
that's
really
awesome.
cool.
That's cool.
Oh, we
And-
got to put that picture up.
I know,
there.
we gotta see that. We'll definitely drop that.
Yeah,
in.
that's going to be dope.
And sure enough, I'm sitting there. We're taking our picture. We're done, with the kind of photo shoot. And a New York City cop walks by with a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, come on.
There's a Chick-fil-A in Times Square.
Yeah, there is
Isn't
now.
that something?
There is now.
Yep.
You're exactly right. And that was a hard thing for them to get. I remember that was a big deal.
Because they don't do fast food probably
Well,
or
we've
something
got a
like
friend
that.
of ours
or-
that works corporate, Heather Bryant and Tyson. Actually, I forget she got remarried, and I like her husband too, Terrell. So shout out. I apologize.
Oh, man.
But she I think does marketing and stuff at Chick-fil-A corporate, and I know that was a big deal when they opened the Times Square stuff, and
Always closed on Sunday.
And
Yeah.
always closed on Sunday. Well,
That's when you want it.
So Warren Buffett has historically had an offer. Now I don't know if it still stands, but for years he had an offer that he wanted to buy Chick-fil-A, but they would not allow, because it's still privately held. They would not sell it unless he guaranteed that it would be, closed on Sundays.
Sunday.
And of course,
Yeah.
he as a
Yeah, he's looking at
capitalist,
the
as a-
numbers.
as a
Yeah.
true capitalist.
Yeah, he's like,
it's like that's a whole
you make
day of
this much a
revenue.
year.
Yeah.
He's like, take
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
revenue by the year,
Yeah.
divided by 6.
That's right.
But what's
and then the
interesting?
camp, right? Camp Windlake's.
Windshape.
Windshape. Right.
Yeah, they do a great. I mean, it's just an incredible organization that does a lot of great things. But aside from all of that, they interesting enough, on Sunday they didn't actually close on Sundays because it was a holy day. It was actually a day of rest.
Well, yeah.
It was just a day
Yeah,
of
yeah.
rest. As a restaurateur, he knew people needed a day that you didn't come to work and you got to be with family.
So that poses the question. By being closed on Sunday, is it more profitable than the other 6 days? Because you're giving your staff time off and they like to be there.
Traditionally, they are more profitable than
Right.
everybody else in 6 days
Correct.
than their 7.
So,
Interesting.
when I come in, I feel like this is not. I feel welcome at a Chick-fil-A. How you doing? What can I get you? Can I get you a refill?
Right.
The customer service is for fast food it's the best.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
Look, at this,
regardless of where you
at
go.
this point, I'm sending a clip of this to Chick-fil-A corporate,
exactly.
and I want some free sandwiches or something for all this advertising.
Exactly. But the reason I asked you those questions and the reason we're talking about this is when you think of a Christian capitalist, Truett Cathy comes to mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and he gave so much back. You don't realize how many kids that he fostered too. There were a lot of kids that were in youth group with me that he fostered.
Wow.
And they talk about at his passing as adults. They went on to work at Chick-fil-A and be operators at Chick-fil-A and have these incredible lives. But they talk about the impact that he had on. Without him, they would have been lost.
Isn't that something?
He had foster homes on his ranch.
That's what I was going to ask. He had foster homes.
And I mean, but
Wow.
but he would help other parents, kind of be the I guess they would be the home parents.
Yeah.
Because he could, he's running
Can't
the
be
business,
everywhere.
he's doing everything right. But he would fund like 12 homes on this ranch.
Wow.
And I say 12. I don't know why 12's coming up. Maybe it was less, maybe it was more. But it was several homes, and I knew several of the kids that were in our youth group. And but as adults, they've all really looked back and realized. I mean, he wasn't just impacting people globally; he was impacting people locally.
That's where you start, right?
It's always,
Right.
always. It's always that way. It's always that way. All right. We've got to move on from Chick-fil-A though, because I want to ask Rich Sanders some questions about the Christian Capitalism. And so we're going to segue right on in. I do want to ask you, like, what sparked the idea behind the Christian Capitalist?
So two things, and this is in the introduction of the book, which is available on our website.
Yeah.
It's kind of two trends in America pre-COVID. The first is declining church attendance. And we track this pretty carefully, Jason.
Yep.
There's a number of polling organizations that look at this.
You look at Barna. Barna's been tracking it forever.
Pew, Gallup,
you all
name
of them.
it.
Yeah, 100%.
The number of people who raise their hand when these surveys are done and say, I'm a Christian, is continuing to decline.
100%.
And if the Lord blesses with me with living until I'm 80,
Yeah.
the number of Christians will be less than 50% in America for the first time since they started
The country.
taking the
Taking the
poll. Right.
Yeah.
Meantime, the popularity of socialism continues to rise. Now it's interesting. The polling on this shows pre-COVID that socialism was really gaining popularity.
Okay.
Post-COVID, maybe because the economy came back in such a really dramatic fashion, socialism declined a little bit, but still remains popular with such an important generation. Rebecca and I have been blessed to have 3 kids. They're 25, 23, and 20. With that generation, that demographic, socialism continues to be popular and has a more favorable opinion than capitalism itself. So I felt like, 2017, 2018, I really needed to do something that emphasized the benefits of Christianity, the grace that God gave us through his son, and kind of be an apologist for the church. At the same time, as a small business owner, I thought the best way for me to do that is through my own experience, not just as a small business owner, but I own my own law firm. And even though we were in healthcare and very specific to an industry, we were corporate lawyers. We did a lot of mergers and acquisitions, started a lot of businesses.
Sure.
So I thought, it seems to me that these two concepts combined can be both a defense of capitalism and a defense of Christianity. And at the same time, like you said at the introduction, give people something to talk about.
Yeah.
Man, in particular in our community here in Destin, a number of people look at that and say, hey, that's me. I'm a Christian capitalist. I own my own business. I like to go to church.
Yeah.
And it's all good. But just as many, maybe not in our community here in the Emerald Coast, but certainly around the country, look at that and say, you can't be both.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of that
I've
reasons,
heard that argument.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that's the case is in academic theology, in particular since World War II, the trend has been to say that the best way to be a Christian is to be a socialist. That the best way to be a Christian is to say, I don't want anything at all, or if I do want to have anything, I want to have the same thing as everybody else. And so one of the key arguments to the Christian capitalist is, and the reason it's kind of our motto is, the more we make, the more we give, is that we can love our neighbor like Jesus told us to in at least a number of ways. But at least one way when it comes to business is to make a lot of money and then give a bunch away.
Yeah.
For sure.
I get it.
The generosity of it, for sure. I mean, if everybody's the same, then you're really relying on an organization full of humans. And what do we know about humans? They human.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so if I can be a Christian and then I can be a good steward of all that God's given me, then I can make sure that, then my humaning is all on me. Right?
Well, and I
it's
got to
all
tell
on
you,
me, right? And in my prayer life.
And such an important word in this conversation is love. To anybody, pastor, attendee of a church who says you can't be both, I just think we should have a socialist economy. I say that's fine. If you think we should have a socialist economy, that's great. But nowhere in Scripture does Jesus say the best way to love your neighbor is to adopt a socialist economy. He says love your neighbor by loving your neighbor.
Yeah.
You got to have a direct relationship.
That's it.
Not just to support an economy that ultimately kind of passes things around in an evenly distributed way, which, by the way, never works.
Well, no,
It's never been proven.
We have a short list in the book of socialist economies currently on Earth, and they're not places where you would say everything's equally distributed.
Because you
and
have to
running
take
well,
greed out of
you
the
know?
equation. Socialism only works if there's never greed.
never.
And guess
Ever.
what?
But
We're
human's
humans.
human.
And we are
Exactly.
human.
Right.
That's where capitalist, it does work and not to go too much in the weeds because you're much more of an expert on
No,
this
man,
than
you
I
got
am.
it.
But the greed is always going to be found in any government. So if you have a governing body that allows greed, it's going to be hard. It's always going to be the carve-outs, the haves, and you're always going to have the have and have-nots. Look at other countries where they're so wealthy, super elite with socialism.
Yep.
It's always going to happen. But then you're just pushing down everybody else. And what's the incentive to even do more? I always think, I want to better my life, but what's my incentive to do it if it's all going to... I'm in a caste system and I can never get out.
Brandon, that's exactly why the subtitle of the book, that's a beautiful segue.
I didn't mean it.
No, it's a beautiful segue. That's why the subtitle of the book is the gospel, the good news of hard work
That's it.
and generous giving.
That's right.
Because in a socialist economy, no one has the incentive to work hard.
That's right.
That's why they all keep failing.
Yeah.
But if you work hard in a capitalist system and you have that incentive to go work hard and you make a bunch of money, that's fantastic. Just don't forget to give some to
Don't
your
have the
neighbor.
greed. Right. Give it out. Right. Right.
Well, and that's really what being a Christian is about, and being a believer and a follower of Christ is being really generous. I mean, Christians are known for a lot of things. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's a YouTube video. Maybe I'll put a little clip of it up. But there's a YouTube video one where a guy Googles and is like, Christians are so, and it goes through the alphabet, and it's like, why are Christians so? And the A was like, assholes or whatever, and then B
Yikes.
was, whatever. I mean, none of it was good. You go through the first, how Google suggests, none of it was good. So we got a lot of bad things that Christians are known for, and there is issues inside the faith because, again, we're human. However, I think we're also known to be very generous. I mean, every flood that happens, usually Christians are out there giving and donating and sending things
And you usually
away.
know a Christian by the
And
real fruit. You just look at
100%.
Look at what they're doing in life.
So Christians, I think, can also be some of the most generous people in the world when we're doing it right, right?
When we're doing it right.
So I think
That's
it's a
right.
great message. I know I shared with you on the pod and maybe just in just real life, in IRL, in other conversations. But we talked about the fact that when we had a sanitation company and how I loved the areas of our county that were unincorporated, where people could pick up the phone and they could call any, I guess through our 20-something year history, 25-year history, there could be as up to 18 different competitors in certain counties we were servicing in Metro Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And so there, where different here in Florida, it's flow control and things like that. And we had some municipalities where the government would dictate this is the one hauler. And we had plenty of them that we won the contract based on price or whatever. But in the unincorporated areas, that customer had the ability to pick up the phone and call, fire me and hire somebody else at any time they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
What that created was this competitive level inside our company. It says, I want to be better than the next guy. And so I need to have better phones. I need to have better trucks. I need to have better cans. I need to wash them. I need to, do all.
And I want to do it for less.
I've got to be price competitive.
Right.
I've got to do all of these things that allow me. Without that, in the municipal side, which I always wanted to give them great service, so don't get me wrong, but I'm locked into a price, and I have these price escalators that are guaranteed to me, and I'm only going to pick up, like where we live, we're now automated, and they give us 2 cans, or you have to buy a second.
Buy the second.
You buy the second one, but you can have 1 can, you put all your trash in there, and then it dumps. That's it. You can't put anything outside. You can't put cardboard. It has to be bagged. It has to be, and that's regulated by them. Well, if you were in an unincorporated area, my service area, you would need to be sure to pick up every piece of trash that was at that person's the end of the street. Because you were in a competition to beat the other guy.
Yeah.
So service was extra, price was controlled, and it was all done by that free market. Mm-hmm. And
you raised a great point. The Christian Capitalist is a title I chose just because it had a nice kind of punch to it, and it was controversial to get people to talk. I tried Follower of Jesus in Free Enterprise. It just didn't have the same ring to it.
I get it.
But it's the concept.
I get it.
It's so good. Well, you highlight hard work and generosity as 2 core Christian values. What do you think these why do you think these often get separated or even misunderstood in conversations about money and faith?
So one of the reasons I think that this is a unique concept for so many people is they think, I own my own business, or I go to work every day and I go to church and I may tithe, right?
Right.
But putting them together as glorifying God is something that, based on my research and putting the book together, because I thought of this idea back, pre-COVID, and did a lot of research to make sure no one had written something like this before. tying those two concepts together is unique, and ultimately based on concepts that just you don't hear a lot about because people don't think about it that way. I love, and part of what we do on the podcast is talk to people who say things like, I go to work every day so I can make money to give it away. One of our first people that I interviewed, I met on an airplane, actually on the way to Nashville to record the version of the audiobook last spring, day after Easter. Her name, she's just an angel, ophthalmologist from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And Jennifer Morrison. I sit down next to her. I show her the book. I'm going off to record the audio version. She's like, that's kind of like my husband and me. All 4 kids are through college. We're in good shape. So now basically we just work to support our charities.
Oh, wow.
It's cool.
Wow.
I love that.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is.
2 core concepts that we all know as Christians. One, the first thing we know about God is that he works. Right there in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God creates the universe and everything we know, right? We know he works. And in the process of creation, what did he do? He created us.
Right.
How are we created?
Like in his image.
If he works, we work, right? And when we don't work, socialist economy talking to you, and when we don't work, right, not only are we not fulfilling our purpose that God has designed us for, we fall out of our relationship with God.
Yeah, but if you want to throw those in-ears out, you're going to hear us just fine. Just throw them out. We'll fix them in break.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The other thing we know about God is that he gives.
Yeah.
He does.
He gave the people of Israel manna from heaven in the wilderness, and he gave us his only son.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we know that God works and God gives, and we're built in his image, we're glorifying him by working and giving. That's why it's the good news. You know?
Good news, baby. Yeah. It's the good news. I was going to ask you this: how do you define Christian capitalism? But I feel like we've kind of been defining it a little bit. You just nailed it. I mean, you're launching the other thing you were telling me is you're launching Christian capitalist groups like on college campuses now. Yeah. I mean, that's so unique, right? So like what is that? I mean,
what's that look like?
Yes.
Well,
yes. What are you hoping students walk away with? Right?
Not to be commies.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Well, listen, you can.
Is it in business school?
Goal number 1: don't be a commie.
Don't be a commie. Brennan, it's not just in business schools. I'm so glad you mentioned that. So the first thing is, I got to say, as I mentioned, I'm so proud. Rebecca and I are blessed to have 3 kids. Our youngest child, Caroline, is a rising junior at the University of Alabama. All right. I'm looking at the timer. Have we got time for a short story?
Yes,
All right, good.
We're good.
That thing works.
So this, because this story actually involves 2 of our kids. All right. So our middle son, Will, went to the University of South Carolina, pitched for Carolina, and then got drafted by the Cubs in July of 23.
Nice. Come on,
so
baby.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome.
He's in the minor leagues with the Cubs, and just earlier this summer in May got promoted to AAA. So he's in Iowa playing for the Iowa Cubs. It's awesome.
Wow.
That's great.
I found out that first day, remember I was telling y'all reading 100 books and how exhausted I was?
Yeah.
So it's Monday night in the Sanders home. It's Monday night Mexican. So I'm at a Mexican place in Franklin, Tennessee, not talking to anybody because my voice is sore, right? And I get this text from Will. Spring training has broken up. He's been assigned to his team. He was going to the South Bend Cubs, High A, in that system. And he found out when he was going to pitch at a home game in South Bend. So he texts Rebecca and me and says, guess what? I got good news. I'm on the roster in the rotation. He's a starting pitcher, and I'm going to be pitching next Wednesday. All right. So this is Monday after Easter. I'm like, that's cool. It's Wednesday, April 10th. That's my birthday. What a terrific birthday gift, by the way, to have your son, who you worked so hard with since he's 2 years old, to become a ball player. So he's in the rotation. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't talk to anybody. For whatever reason, they're taking forever to get my to-go order. So I'm like, all right, God, who wants to talk to me about this concept at Notre Dame? Because South Bend, Indiana is the home of Notre Dame University, the biggest Catholic school in the country.
I'm from Indiana, so.
Oh, you are? Yeah. All right, so you know what I'm talking about.
Indiana University's in the south, Purdue's in the middle, Notre Dame's up at the top.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, listen, I got time, not talking to anybody, and I literally, fellas, went through every college, every school, every center, every institute at Notre Dame to find somebody that the Holy Spirit would lead me to that wanted to talk about these core concepts, Christianity and capitalism. And sure enough, There's a professor at the Mendoza College of Business. I'm just looking through his bio. He's the head of the Center for Business Ethics. I'm like, that's in the neighborhood, but we're really not talking about business ethics. To me, business ethics is don't dump sewage in the river, right? But I'm looking at his CV, and sure enough, 10 years ago, Jim Otteson, who's got a PhD and is the fantastic faculty member at the Mendoza College of Business at Notre Dame, wrote a book about capitalism and why it's better than socialism. And I'm like, that's my guy. And so it may be good marketing. You know, I don't have neon signs like you do, man. I'm not a jabroni.
Oh, you're an honorary jabroni.
You're been adopted.
But I sent him an email right there at the counter waiting for my to-go Mexican. And the subject line, I think, was a good hook.
Yeah, that's good.
Cubs, Christianity, and Capitalism. Sanders' visit on April 11th. And sure enough, he came right back the next day. Rebecca and I were touring Notre Dame and went upstairs to visit with him and a colleague, John Sikorsky, who says, I totally get it. I teach my students at undergrad and the MBA level how to be better Christians in business.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, this is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
On the way from that meeting in the faculty lounge, Rebecca and I are walking to the bookstore. Just in our family, when we tour college, which we've done a lot with kids this age, we get a Tervis tumbler, we get a koozie, and we get a Christmas ornament. So we go to the Notre Dame bookstore, and on the way, they had decorated the light posts like they do in a lot of college campuses, a lot of small towns. And it said, the banner said, Notre Dame Clubs, a force for good.
Oh,
so we're walking to the bookstore. We go into the bookstore. We get our stuff. We get in the car and we're going to go meet Will because he pitched the night before, so we can have a little, late supper with him. And it hit me like a 2x4. Clubs are a force for good. Let's have Christian capitalist college clubs. And so I got the idea at Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is one of our 5 clubs that we're starting this fall.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
But
Really
the first one is at Alabama.
Oh, of course.
Our daughter Caroline raised her hand and said, before I even could ask her, Dad, I want to start ours.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
You wouldn't be
That's
you
great.
would be surprised at how great the entrepreneurs that come out of the University of Georgia are. You
I'll
would be
say we
surprised.
definitely need to do Georgia.
We will absolutely do, George. Don't you worry. But Caroline is a leader. She's an entrepreneur. And so I reached out to a friend of ours whose son played baseball with Will in Atlanta, Buckhead Baseball. His daughter, Quinn, is a rising junior, finance, and just because added accounting as a double major. So she's our president at Notre Dame. And then Caroline recruited 3 of her friends to join us. So this fall, 5 clubs, Auburn, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Notre Dame. And the mission of these clubs is pretty straightforward. Teach these students while they're still in college to be better Christians in business. And frankly, in 2025, fellas, to learn how to say you're a Christian when you're at work without feeling like you're offending anybody or without feeling like you're going to get fired.
Alienated,
Right.
Yeah.
And then the second is because it's about loving your neighbor, because it's about hard work and generous giving, but recognizing college students don't have money, right?
No.
Is put together community service projects where you can love your neighbor in each of those communities that is not currently being done by other clubs. So create kind of a community assessment, figure out how we can put this into practice, and then send students out into the world with their degrees and hopefully empowered to say, I follow Jesus and I want to come work for you. You know, and pray that people don't alienate them as a result. Because it's only through, listen, Jesus said it many times, people are going to hate you for following me.
Yeah.
But you got to embrace your faith. And I'm so proud of these kids are all 20, 21 years old, and they're doing it.
Well,
Yeah.
I always say it's the
it's
best
awesome.
message of Jesus is loving others, right? I mean, that's really the best message. And so I think sometimes the loudest Christians are our worst voices, right? And so the quieter Christians are almost our best voices. So it's the actions, the doers, more than the talkers.
Well, that's well said. Do you know, I want to say, please don't quote me on this unless, do y'all have somebody who does fact checking afterwards to...
We can do it all. Yeah, we can do it all.
Hey, Joe over there in the corner, check this out. Fact check.
We'll fact check you. Danielle's back there.
I want to say it was St. Francis
Yeah,
who said, Preach the gospel in everything you do. When necessary, use words.
Use words.
You're dead on.
Right.
It was
You
him.
nailed it.
Well, there's a debate in theology, as with all theology, but he is
Historically, yeah.
historically attributed to
Yeah.
You nailed it.
And so that's the concept here. Listen, Columbia, South Carolina is the state capital. It's a big city compared to Auburn, Alabama. But they're poor and needy in both of those communities. And so these clubs are going to get people together who are interested, and they're going to go out and help those who live in those communities on campus or off. And then we, as an organization, are going to help them get their resumes ready, help them network, help them go get jobs.
This is amazing, by the
It's
way.
perfect.
And what I love about it is the help, sending people off in the world, the discipleship that there is, walking with young people, helping them think differently. But also sometimes, I mean, look, whether you are young or old, the amount of self-awareness that we have as Americans is I think, tanking.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea that you're not on the planet by yourself is such a
We
great
think we're
thing
the
to say.
center
Can
of
I
the
serve,
universe.
Right. Can I serve
Individually.
other people?
Yeah.
Just the idea, like, quite frankly, listen, if you're listening to this, you may have turned it off when we said the word Christian, and you guys know if
And
you're
then turn
our
it off
audience-
again when we say capitalist.
Right. But you guys know, if you're in our audience, that we love you, and our goal is, if you're a believer, that we want you to hopefully stretch your definition of grace. And if you're an unbeliever, you'll start doubting your unbelief. That's what we're hoping here. But what I want to tell you is that thinking outside, thinking of others first, putting others first, is a concept that will work for you and play out for you, whether you want to believe anything that's been said today.
Call it karma. Call it whatever you want to call it.
I don't even care.
You put good
Try-
out, you get
just try.
You get good back.
Just
You
try
put bad
it and see
out,
what
you get
happens.
bad back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well said. Yeah.
Just try.
I agree.
It's well said. So we got to tell you about True North Pest Control. I mean, True North is going to take care of all your critter problems in your house. They're going to get them all, right? Like,
Yeah.
What is it like?
I mean, the flying termites are bad right
flying
now, right?
termites are coming around. here.
spiders.
They're swarming.
Swarming. People that don't live in Florida don't know about flying termites. They fly.
They're as old as dinosaurs, probably.
They are.
They have been around.
And you can't kill these things. You can kill dinosaurs.
What was that song? You
The
remember?
True North can kill them. That's about it.
What was that? There was some show that was like it was Jackie Chan. You remember Jackie Chan did that thing with who was the guy? They were police officers.
Rush Hour?
Rush Hour.
Chris Tucker.
And it was like,
Chris,
it was like war.
Chris Tucker.
What is this good for? And I'm like,
Yeah.
mosquitoes.
Absolutely.
What are they good for?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Why was
been around
mosquitoes
since
allowed
dinosaurs.
on the ark? I'm just
I don't
gonna
know.
say that's another one. I got a ton of questions.
I think they're the nature's hitchhikers. they came around, but hey, listen. All funny business aside, True North Pest Control are your superheroes, man. They will take care of everything you got. So give them a buzz. They are in Orlando, Central Florida, all of Georgia, and here on the Emerald Coast. And they are great people. Tell them the Jabroni sent you. TrueNorthPest.com. They're great.
They do like a 50% discount if we send them. Is that what it is?
For juice.
For
juice.
Just kidding, Tony.
Tony's gonna watch us like, what did you send to my business?
All these people.
Fake news.
Hey, I'm telling you, they'll take care of you, though, boys. So, now back to the show. So, absolutely, man. But this is actually a time that we're going to break a little bit from the show. We have a little song. You won't be able to hear it because your in-ears aren't in, but we're going to play it anyway. And this is the juice. You can maybe throw an in-ear.
No, you got to hear this song.
Yeah, you got to hear the song.
Fantastic.
Oh, Juice has got his own
Put it up
song,
there.
Rich.
Just put it up there.
I don't have a song yet. I've been doing this for 48 episodes.
Let's go ahead and play it on.
Juice, oh juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right.
Anymore.
In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Yeah.
I should have grabbed the poker.
You should have grabbed the
trophy.
poker.
I can't
The
reach
poker.
it.
That's his
This
poker
is Juice's poker trophy
trophy.
that he bought.
okay.
Don't listen to the rest of
But
the
we
story.
had,
they're gonna tell
hey,
you.
folks out there, shameless plug, Delve Card, DELVE, Delve Card. You can find them Boardwalk Games, Delve Card. Great game to play with kids at the table when you got teens and tweens and they're going like, hey, how was your day? Oh, no. Not sure how my day was. I don't know. This is a great game. We're going to play it right now with you. Juice has pulled
Yeah,
a
this is an
card.
interesting one. What fictional villain did you find yourself rooting for?
Oh, that's good. Fictional villain.
What
Did I find
fictional
myself?
villain
We're all going to answer this. So,
did
what
you find
fictional
yourself-
village?
Villain.
Villain.
What fictional,
Villain. I'm sorry, villain. Golly. fictional villain.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
This is.
I kind of like Gargamel from the Smurfs. I kind of wanted to, it always got his comeuppance, but he tried so hard, to catch them Smurfs. Just let him get one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that made me think of Despicable Me.
Yeah,
Don't know that dude's name.
Yeah, that Gru. Yeah, you could probably find yourself cheering for Gru, I guess. There's is there anybody in like? Oh, I'm just going through
superhero world.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the
not
superhero
Thanos.
world. Yeah, not Thanos for sure. I mean,
That's kind of a stumper.
I don't know. That is a stumper. I'm not sure. I've never
got
really
one.
found.
What you got?
What you got?
So, my favorite Christmas movie
Okay.
is Die Hard.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And
Don't tell me you were going for Hans Gruber.
Hans
Sounds like it
Gruber.
was.
You were
Hans
going-
Gruber. I wasn't pulling for him.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way.
Okay.
But I can relate to him. And our personal investment philosophy as business people on the Emerald Coast is the Hans Gruber investment philosophy. Sitting on a beach, earning 20%. That's what he wanted to do, right?
That's right. That's
So I
right.
can't say I rooted for him over John McClane, but I can relate.
That's right.
That is the greatest Christmas movie ever. The young people
he
today,
totally
young
redeemed
people
himself.
today will say it's not, but they just didn't live it.
I
They
guess I'll
didn't
go
live
for the
it.
team that was playing the Mighty Ducks. I don't know who that was.
Oh, the team
Yeah.
playing the Mighty Ducks. All
You
right.
want the
I'm just
Mighty
kidding.
Ducks to go
This is a
down?
hard question.
This is a hard question. It's a hard question. We're going to move on. There's look, they have all kinds of decks, and they go from easy to hard, and you can check them out. Delve card, just Google it. At any rate, moving right along, though, critics might say capitalism and Christianity are incompatible, right?
Right.
Especially when it comes to issues like inequality or greed. I mean, how do you respond to that tension?
I say they're exactly right. It certainly can be incompatible, where Christianity and capitalism are human systems, right? One's an organization divided into, it's a global organization divided into many churches. All of those churches are filled with people. Some are generous, some are greedy. Capitalism is formed by millions of businesses around the planet. Some are owned by generous people, some are owned by greedy people.
Yeah.
Right? So, but you can't knock the system because it's filled with people. Every system is full of people.
You're
and like we
100%
talked about before the break, socialism has deep flaws
Right.
for that reason.
Yeah.
And Christianity, as it is supposed to be,
Yeah.
is a religion of love.
Right.
That's right.
But I got to tell you, even Christianity had, when most people, especially those who have a good grasp of Scripture, when most people say you can't be both,
Yeah.
just look at what Peter did after the ascension. That's a tough one. All right. So in Acts chapter 4,
Right.
Peter is described by Luke as having started a community outside of Jerusalem. Everyone was in common mind, and the church grew day by day.
Right.
And nothing was held privately. All property was held in common. Everyone gave according to their ability and received according to their need.
Right.
Fellas, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Because Karl Marx put that almost exact sentence in the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, you're right.
Right in the 1870s.
Right.
Everyone gives according to their ability,
Right.
receives according to their need. So what I say to that is, and Peter, more so than any of us in this room, any Christian really in history, except maybe Andrew, his brother, Peter heard every word Jesus said. Every word. He was with him the whole time. And Peter's first thought was, let's set up a community where everybody gives, nobody has private property, share everything in common.
Right.
Peter was right there with Jesus, and that was his first attempt at building a Christian community.
Right.
But man, he got it wrong
Right.
and almost immediately regretted it.
Right.
Within just a few verses, Peter's wringing his hands and saying, who am I to wait on tables? This is crazy.
Right.
I got to go preach the gospel.
Right.
We need somebody else to administer this system. Because there was infighting, and this, by the way, when we had the
Well, humans are human, and they're going to have everything enters in, and somebody wants something that they don't have, and
that's exactly
Somebody
right.
takes
and,
offense.
work for.
and somebody's jealous, and so that's why in the 7 questions at the beginning, you said, "What's got more drama?"
Yeah.
The reality show or the potluck
The
dinner
potluck.
at church.
Yeah.
All right, the potluck dinner at this community in Acts of the Apostles went like this, right? The Hellenists, the people who had moved there from Greece, came to Peter and said, "You're giving the Jewish widows more than you're giving the Greek widows."
Yeah.
They got jealous over what was being distributed in common. And that was a community built on love. It just can't happen that way.
As close as you could be to Jesus.
Yes.
As the church started, and it just doesn't work.
And failed almost immediately. Yeah. And by the way, we talk about in the book, Peter, listen, he's the rock of the church, right? I'm not going to, bang on him, but Peter got it wrong and then very quickly fixed it with deacons and then moved on, right? Yeah. Paul took the exact opposite approach. We're not going to build a Christian community. We're going to take the gospel out into the world, and we're going to put it in every single community we go to, every single economy. How many times do you hear in Acts of the Apostles where Paul is going to some new town and he casts out a demon, or he tells the fortune teller, you got to change your ways, and people are ready to kill him literally because he's messing with their economy. Yeah. But what happens? The economies turn over, Christianity grows, and the economy and the church are able to work together and coexist. So that's what I tell people when they say you can't be both.
Tension's there. You know what's tough
tension's always been there.
The tension's always there, and even today, like, I don't know if you've heard about. We talked about it a little bit before the show. The new documentary that's out. I think it's on. I know that you can go to religionbusiness.com and see it, but. It's a 7-part documentary series that talks about this mega church blow up that we've had here in the United States of America, and how tough it is. And I was actually just talking with somebody today that was a young person in college, and I was kind of sharing with them about that I wanted to watch this documentary and some of the issues that were coming up in this tension in church, because while there's purity and the church has done so many good things, there's a lot of bad things that the church has done throughout centuries, but certainly even today, you could argue that we've got pastors. It just feels like every other day there's a pastor that's done something and hurt somebody or mistook trust, or we've got them on jets everywhere, and you've got all these things. We did a whole episode one time on church hurt, and we talked about these things and this tension that is there. And I'll never this young person said to me, well, you're right. I need to watch this documentary because I got so jaded from the church because of all the hypocrisy. Which, of course, my first thing was like, well, we're all hypocrites. I mean, I'm a hypocrite.
It's in and out of the church. You don't have to go to church for that.
We're all hypocrites, but it's really the problem, I think, with the church is the audacity that we have sometimes to think that there is a Christian life. Like there's this perfect Christian walk. Yeah. It's the audacity that we have to say that. And then you get the folks that are like, and we're going to talk all about that life and why you should do it because I'm doing it perfect too. And that's where it really starts breaking down. Because I told this person, I said, really, truthfully, all we really should be doing is trying to be better today than we were yesterday and even still tomorrow. Like that's the best we can do.
It's the best we can do.
And hold on to Jesus and do the best we can to get closer to Him and closer to Him.
Because if you read Scripture too literally, it is certainly possible to conclude that everybody in this room, right, who's a Christian,
right,
is getting it wrong. Simply because we have possessions in the first place. Jesus tells the rich young ruler who asks, what do I need to do to inherit the kingdom of heaven?
Well, I dog-eared that page there in your book.
All you got to do is give everything away and follow me. And he goes away sad because he had many possessions.
Yeah, how can there's no way for me to get through it.
So he throws in the towel. And I got to tell you, you read that too literally, and we're all running around without clothes, without possessions. And what does that make us? What does that make us in a modern society? If we give up everything and we become possessionless, to me, it makes us a burden on our neighbor. And that's not being a good, loving neighbor, right? If you say, you know what, I'm just going to quit work, I'm going to not have any possessions, and I'm just going to sit here, you're going to be a burden on your neighbor because now they have to take care of you.
Right.
Let me tell you about in the Crystal Lake neighborhood, everybody knows I have one tool of everything, and everybody comes over because they're glad I have possessions because they borrow them. And that's cool. I'm like, hey guys, you seen that drill lately? Yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back.
That's awesome.
So that's all. The only thing that Brandon would like to say to you folks out there is bring his tools back.
Right. No questions asked.
Return it when you're done.
No
complete amnesty.
There's an amnesty going on right here, right? For the next 30 days.
I'm a Labrador Retriever. You need a tool? You want me to bring it to your house? Or you coming down to get it?
I love that.
That's great. You need to start Apple tagging everything.
That'll work.
Just show up.
He has an actual Labrador Retriever.
I do.
Yes, I do.
I
Oh,
do
he
too.
does.
I do
Oh, you do too,
I
yeah.
do too.
That's
He does
awesome.
too. Yeah. No, that's so good, man. It is a tough thing, and I know that the youth out there today is so you may be struggling with all this, but I mean it's not a hard thing to do. Just step into a relationship with Jesus and see what happens, right?
And but these questions of money and faith, you were talking a while ago, asked about how these got separated. It's a daily challenge. Right, so I'm a pastor in a very small church, and in our church, we have a liturgy, and so there's a set reading that we follow the lectionary, and in our church, the tradition is the pastor reads the gospel, and so when I'm reading the gospel, and it's the rich young ruler, or it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of the needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And I look at the faces of the people in my congregation, some of whom are our age, right, 40s and 50s. And they're financial advisors, they're wealth managers. They're rich people who got rich by helping rich people get richer. How do they interpret that gospel lesson?
Yeah.
Does it mean they're automatically bad Christians? They need to quit this profession that they've worked so hard to build? Or leave the people that they're advising hanging? I'm not going to quit. I'm going to quit financial management because I want to be a better Christian. To me, that's not the case. It's advise people to use whatever means they have, but especially if they're wealthy enough to have a financial advisor to benefit their poor and needy neighbor. Time and time again, we see that in the scriptures. Give to the poor, give to the needy. We're always going to have the poor.
Yeah.
And so do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen some incredible things. I knew a guy that he went down and started an orphanage down in Nicaragua
Whoa.
for young kids. He left his business, sold what he could, and went down and started an orphanage. And he had gone on a mission trip. And there's this place they call the dump, and it's not like a dump that we have that's controlled and tarped and dirt over it. I mean, it's just where
Solar
people,
panels.
right? Just people that throw trash into the ground, and that's just they keep going there and going there and going there. Well, when they can't feed a kid or they can't take care of somewhere, they don't want to go on or figure it out. They drop the kids off in the dump.
Oh man.
And so when you go there, you show up and there'd be kids that would be coming out of this dump. It's still happening today. So he's got an orphanage that he brings these kids out of the dump, and gives them a place to live and teaches them skills and how to go to school and learn and he's got and then he's helped Nicaraguans to come around this orphanage and all that. What's funny though is that I remember him telling me that the hardest thing is trying to make sure that they're doing the Nicaraguans, because it's interesting, this concept, and he's a business leader. So that this Christian capitalism, because he's like, what you don't realize is you can fly from Nicaragua and back home, right, to Atlanta, let's say, and back, and every plane is filled with youth groups coming down to do a mission trip. But nothing will change because they fly in, they build the church or they build the building, and it's something that Nicaraguans could do for themselves. Well, they just stop doing because we're coming down in. So he's like, what his goal is really to teach them how to build this building, to teach them how to make the craft, to teach them how to have some sort of job, and income coming in, so that they can do for themselves.
Which is
because
capitalism.
Nothing's changing, but it is.
That's capitalistic thought.
Absolutely.
The old hand up is better than a hand out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd like your input on this, fellas, because this is a question we wrestle with all the time.
Yeah.
The Christian Capitalist Church, even in our own family. Somebody asks you on the street, somebody comes up to you and says, have you got any money to spare?
Yep.
What do you say?
Well, in today's age, cash isn't always on hand. I'm waiting for the day that somebody pulls out their iPhone and is like, you can just Venmo me.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. We're headed that direction in America, at least, right?
Yeah.
Our homeless in America traditionally has had it in better situations. Now, I do not envy that world, and there is a lot to unpack there. We are just a $10 podcast, so forgive me for our jokes here, because there's mental illness. There are so many things that
I've done
go on
both. If
behind
I've
that.
got money and
If
they're
I have-
needy,
If I have it, I give it.
If I don't have it,
50-50, yeah.
I've seen a guy
I definitely
that
have helped.
I will
Or
tell
give
you.
him
I
money.
will tell you though. I met with a priest that said you should not. And this is when I was downtown Atlanta, and he cautioned
Yeah,
me,
it depends.
cautioned me to not give it away.
Well, your surroundings matter and all that. I feel like.
Well, what we would find, and this is not everywhere, but this was one lady that would find in our area of our church, and when we first started getting there, that she would get donations and cash and things like that from different, people coming into church, and somebody followed her home, and she's owned a home, in the neighborhood for the last 30 years, and this is how she's paying for. I mean, she puts on an outfit.
Wow.
Now there's a mental
That's
illness
crazy.
there. There's something happening there.
But it's something,
yeah.
and this is why I ask. It's still very difficult. So we're in line. Rebecca and I are in Rome, getting ready to tour the Vatican. You go in through the Vatican Museum.
It's bad around that area, though, for what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
and a couple hundred people in line,
Yeah.
and there's a guy,
Yep.
filthy, rags,
Yep.
cane, cup,
Yep.
going around like this,
Yep.
barefoot.
Yep.
Every single person in that line looking straight ahead and ignoring him.
Yeah.
I gave him €5.
Yeah.
And no one even blinked.
Right.
I'm like, maybe everybody from this global, community that's in line to go tour the Vatican, because sure, none of those people live in that neighborhood, right?
Right.
They're touring the Vatican.
Right.
Maybe they know something I don't know, and this guy's just an actor.
Right.
But I have a feeling there's a certain cynicism that comes about over time too. Well, I give to the poor all the time, but what are they going to do with it?
Right.
There is. I mean, it's a hard question to answer.
The hard thing about it is, and look, I donate to Danielle and I give to Charity Water. You can check them online. I think it's charitywater.org or whatever. They do a great job. Scott Harrison is the founder there at Charity Water, and a great job, full transparency. So if you're building wells, because that's part of the issue in the country or the world globally is you have third world countries that these people are dying because of bad water, or they don't have clean water. They don't have good drinking water. So he saw this problem, and they're building wells all over the globe. When you donate 100% of your money goes to building that well.
That's awesome.
Now you can peel off and say, I would like 20% to go to administrative fees, and they're just complete transparency in his organization. I love those type of organizations, and I love to give to those type of organizations that have complete transparency in what they're doing. I mean, a fully audited accounting, people are held
That's
accountable.
the problem these days.
That's not always the case.
Yeah.
But here's what I would tell you. Don't allow the joy in your giving to go down that road, right? So if you give it joyously.
Yeah.
And then enjoy, because giving is a blessing. And so when you give it, it's not really up to you what that person does with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly right.
I feel they're accountable for it. Yeah.
And I got to say, it's also it in certain communities, panhandling, asking for money has become so widespread that it's become a matter of public policy.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, our son's in spring training, and so we go to Phoenix to go visit him for a couple of weeks during spring training every year, which is a lot of fun. In Scottsdale, there are signs: "Do not give to panhandlers. We have a lot of social systems to help them."
Right.
My parents and my brother live in San Antonio, and his family. They're in certain neighborhoods in San Antonio. Do not give to those who beg. And I really wrestle with that because Jesus tells us literally to give those who beg.
I wrestle in those situations too. And here's the other thing: is it feels like it's a sign at like the Yellowstone for "Don't feed the bears."
Yeah.
I mean, it really is like kind of weird sometimes when you think about that.
Somebody made a great reel on that about that exact thing about how you're not supposed to feed the animals at these parks, but then you turn around and you do something like this or whatever, just in general.
Yeah.
How you help people out in certain ways, and it's like,
what are we doing here?
Same thing.
Yeah.
So what I did a little social experiment. That same day we saw the cops with Chick-fil-A in Times Square. Beck and I went to a deli, and because New Yorkers love to eat and they know how to eat, right? So we had leftovers from lunch. And so we're walking through Times Square where there are plenty of folks asking for money.
Yeah.
Guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, have you got any money to spare?" I'm like, "No, but I had a feeling I would run into someone in need. Here's a half of a terrific, whatever it was, Reuben. Here's a half of a Reuben we didn't touch. I'd love for you to have it. You don't need to go buy food. I'm going to give it to you." He cursed me, waved his hand, and ran off.
That's what usually happens. That's what happens to me.
Those stories happen all the time. We had a manager at our sanitation company.
Like,
we had a manager at our sanitation company. Guy was getting off the on ramp or the exit ramp on the interstate, and sitting there and asking for money. About the third day, he said, "Hey, here's my business card." He said, if you want to walk, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not that far away. And if you're really interested, or you give us a call, we can come and get you a ride. He gave him a dollar or two for a phone if he needed it. But he said, we'll put you on the back of a truck, and see about giving you a job. He said, a job?
I don't want a job.
I don't need a job. I need money.
I need money.
So, I mean, you get look,
brother.
That stuff happens.
It does.
But those are the things that I kind of believe, Satan uses to try to say, don't give. Mm-hmm. It's not our job as people of faith. It's better to give than receive. I'm telling you, you try it. Just
at the end of the day.
Try me, boo.
Yeah.
Try me, boo.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because I think it's still our job to be generous.
It is.
And we can come up with thousands of those stories. They're all around, right?
That's right. And that's the purpose of the podcast.
Yes.
It's get those stories, tell people to encourage them to work hard and give generously.
That's exactly
You just
right.
nailed
That's
it.
Exactly. Well, if someone's listening wants to live out the gospel of hard work and generous giving, what's one practical step that they could take today? I mean, regardless of their income, right, or their situation, what's one practical step they could do?
I'm glad you added that little bit at the end, Jason, about regardless of income.
Right.
Because a critical story for the book and our movement is the widow's mite. Right? Where Jesus, I'm kind of like we're sitting here, right? You can just envision it's Jesus, Peter and Andrew, James and John, some of the other apostles.
Snazzy couch, couple leather chairs.
Right, exactly. and fantastic paneling.
That's right.
And they're sitting on the side of the synagogue, and there's this parade of rich people in their robes, and they're all contributing to the treasury. And then a widow comes in. And in that society at that time, a widow was just about, from a financial point of view, as poor as you could be. And she gives 2 coins that together aren't even worth a penny. And Jesus says, look at this, fellas. She just gave more than everybody else because that's all she had. So the first thing that somebody can do to take a step in this direction is to start thinking about not what you don't have, but what you do have. Yeah. It's a cliche to count your blessings. Just count your blessings. But I really mean inventory your blessings.
Good call.
Because there's always somebody more needy than you.
That's right. And it's not always about money, is it, Rich? We all have time. We all have skills. We all have purpose. And those skills and that time can be so valuable to somebody else when they need it at a certain time. So,
exactly. And I would say 2 things about that. The first is needy doesn't mean necessarily poor. That's why we say poor and needy.
They might be in a bad spot.
Right. Our first guest on the podcast is a Roman Catholic deacon from San Antonio who served with my dad in the Air Force. Been friends, 40 years. It's
that feels
awesome.
Serious. Roman Catholic deacon.
Yeah.
That's serious.
And he's a serious dude. He preaches the gospel every week, and I love him. But he said, there is an epidemic of loneliness in America. Like you were talking earlier, and you raise a great point. People need to understand that the world doesn't revolve around them for 2 reasons. The first is they need to meet other people, right? And not be so isolated.
Yeah.
And the second is to be able to love them.
Well, we're called to be in communion.
Exactly.
We're called to be in community.
By the way, I encourage you, since we're here kind of promoting the podcast, episode 1, he couldn't figure out how to work the camera on his computer.
Okay.
So it's all audio. But it's riveting because before he served in the Air Force with my dad, he was at Clark Air Force Base in Manila in the late 70s, and regularly, as a devout Roman Catholic, had the chance to learn from, interact with, worship with Mother Teresa.
Oh, wow.
So to hear him say things like...
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
All right.
To hear him say things like, Mother Teresa always said this about giving.
Dang, that's
radio.
crazy.
Good radio, brother.
You just kind of listen.
Isn't there a story? It feels like, and I could be totally off, and you may know this, Rich, but it feels like I've heard a story of how she had these crippled feet and just mangled feet in her older age. And when she was asked why, it's because she always took whatever leftover shoes were there. And she made her feet work.
Yeah.
She just made them work. She
something?
gave everything good she gave away.
So, but Brady, to your point, it is not a question of how much you give, but what you give and from your heart. If it's somebody lonely, go visit with them. If it's somebody hungry, give them a sandwich. If it's somebody thirsty, give them a bottle of water.
Great advice.
I just met a lady that does
Great
Meals
advice.
on Wheels, and I never thought of it. I don't really take a lunch break at work, but I can. But she's like, if you got an hour out of the day to go drop off some meals, all these people, this is the only human activity they get all day long.
Yes.
And you may have to heat it up in the microwave. And I was like, man, I could probably do 3 or 4 before I have to get back to work. But I didn't even think about that. Just just making a point of human activity and relationship by dropping off a meal that I don't even have to make because you don't want my stuff.
Exactly.
Danielle's grandfather got Meals on Wheels, kind of a senior sort of thing that was. I can't remember. It might have been called something different in their hometown in Louisiana. And
but she just needed drivers.
He would get them dropped off like every day, and they would come at lunchtime. But he wasn't. I remember him telling me. He said, "I don't even eat that much." It's like, and he just laughed. He was so funny. He said, "Could you believe they give me a meat and 2 vegetables?" He's like, "And they do it for free." I'm getting so over this. Of course, I told him. I said, "I think you already paid in the system, Papa."
Exactly. But it also
it's so beautiful. Well, the point being to this, and I want to close it. He fell one time and hurt himself, and we don't know how long he was on the ground. But Meals on Wheels found him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
Right?
Just somebody checking in.
Dropping off a meal.
Exactly. Yeah. So it also fundamentally requires us to think about wealth. The very first page of the book is a quote from 1 Timothy. Paul is writing a letter to Timothy, his lieutenant, and saying, "Here's how I want you to teach the people in this church, Timothy. For those who are rich in the present age," which I love because it's talking to them then and us now. For those who are rich in the present age, tell them not to place faith in the uncertainty of riches, but to give generously, do good works, share with others, and build a foundation for life that truly is life.
It's the only thing worth doing.
Exactly. It doesn't have anything to do with the car you drive or the balance in your bank account. It has to do with loving your neighbor. That's the core message. And reevaluating what it means to be rich, to me, has been so meaningful as part of this process. Yeah. When I was in training in seminary, we went down to part of Atlanta that was filled with homeless. And we were just instructed, go 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., go hang out with the homeless communities right there in Hurt Park next to the Capitol. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right. Danielle probably knows that because it's just a couple blocks from Georgia State.
Right, from Georgia State. That's right.
So we go down there, and in our biased, maybe entitled mindset, we said, we're going to bring a lot of protein, we're going to bring a lot of food, we're going to bring bottles of water because this is what the people need. And some of them did. But then I met a man named George who is just laying, kind of lounging on the grass near the connector.
Yep.
And I came up to him and said, "Hey, I've got some boiled eggs, I got some beef jerky, whatever." And he was like, "Man, I don't need any of that. God takes care of me and gives me everything I need. You see that bridge over there? That's where I stay at night. He gives me shelter when it's storming, and I've got people here to hang out with in the park like you." And he opens up this, what I would call soft cooler, right? Sitting next to him. He opens it up, and it's full of sandwiches in plastic bags.
Everybody giving stuff away.
Everybody giving stuff away. He said, "Rich, give that food to someone who needs it."
I love it.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Totally kind of changes your...
Reorientates it out.
Yes, your mindset on what it means to be rich. He's like, maybe one of the most faithful people I've ever met.
For sure.
Isn't that wonderful?
Sure. Well, and there's a great story then, right? We had some bad stories and there's some great stories out there. And that's that humanity that we evolve around and we rotate through, right? And we that hypocrisy of it all, we try to do better today than we did yesterday. And even still tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, I did have a follow-up question on the book. And sorry, not to go off on another tangent.
No, it's good.
Is it just for business folks, or is it sounds like a crazy segue, but we kind of left it there. Is it for everybody? A physician wouldn't think they're a business person.
Good question.
Right. I'm so glad you asked. And the short answer is it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. It's not just for business owners. It's for people in business. It's for folks who are not in the workforce yet. It's for folks who are retired from the workforce. Anybody can be a Christian capitalist.
So my 20-year-old daughter, this is a good book.
Yes.
All right.
I'm so glad you asked because, and I would say furthermore, for the college clubs, hopefully we can clip this out and put it when
we'll get you some.
Yeah. When we're recruiting for the college clubs, because college, gets rolling in less than a month.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a business major to join the Christian Capitalist College Club.
I was kind of in the same vein.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So, for example, the 4 girls at Alabama who just did their promo video, I passed the phone to the girl who, right, and they did this little circle to promote the club at Alabama. PR major, sales and marketing major. Fine, those are a little business oriented. One's majoring in speech therapy. The other's majoring in physical therapy.
Very good.
Okay.
And once those girls graduate and become physical therapists or speech therapists, they can still be Christian capitalists because it's about giving from whatever you make. That's the reason the message is the more we make, the more we give.
That's so
Love
good.
it.
That's great,
Thanks,
man.
Rich.
That's
Awesome.
that's perfect. That's really, really good. So Rich, I've really enjoyed this conversation, and everything that you have to offer here is just so. It's honestly, it's really great. This is just
good, yeah.
This so deep. I told y'all we were going to go deep. We're going to dive into it all, but it's so good, and I love that you have a church at home. How can people, like, if they're listening to the audience, they're going, I've not enjoyed church. I've had bad experiences. I don't go anywhere. I don't know where to go. You're doing something online.
Yeah.
Is it something that they could kind of like pop on and
Absolutely.
join? How would somebody?
Absolutely.
do
You know, it's funny you're mentioning this documentary about the business of religion.
Yeah.
And so many churches. One of my favorite things in life is to drive around the South and look at the little marquee outside of a church and figure out what they're saying to try and attract people. But
Yeah.
time and time again, I see messages that say all are welcome.
Yeah.
That is not always the case.
Not always.
Not always the case.
Is that fair? Not always
All
the
are
case.
welcome if you're just like me.
Exactly. And
checks
don't
out.
sit in my pew.
Don't take my seat.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
So, having said that, if they'd like to come join us, of course, we're online, and it's a very simple address: onlinehomechurch.org.
Online.
Great
we'll throw it
URL,
on
You
there.
can't
by the
even
way.
tell who's there, man.
Onlinehomechurch.org.
Onlinehomechurch.org. There's a big green button that says "Join us now."
Perfect.
10 Eastern, 9 Central. And
Perfect.
yeah,
That's
we'd
great.
love to have folks come visit.
That's great. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. So we'll definitely promote that too. But again, absolute pleasure. I've enjoyed every minute of this podcast
Likewise.
and getting to hear from you. I have one last question though that I've been asking every guest pretty much this season.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you this question now. If you could go back, knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time and tell your 25-year-old self anything, what would you tell him?
Anything.
You're making the right choice by starting your own business and marrying that girl.
I love it.
Because I started
great.
my own business and proposed to Rebecca when I was 25.
A lot of risks though, and
Wow,
all that
yeah.
stuff.
Yep, but I'm glad I did.
I was doing the complete
You're gonna
opposite.
it's gonna
nailed
be perfect, bro. You got
You
this.
nailed it.
You just
nailed it.
keep going.
Right, keep going. Exactly.
going, keep doing it.
Exactly.
You nailed it. So we did have a question come in. We've got one question.
Oh,
so
nice.
we have an
There you
email
go.
out there. It's called $10podcast@gmail.com. That's 1010. The number is 10. And I'll throw it up there too. But $10podcast@gmail. $10podcast@gmail.com. Get a question, you send it. The jabronis and their guest will answer it for you. This case, Rich, you're an honorary jabroni today. So
Awesome.
So we're gonna. This is the question that came in. We're gonna try to answer it. It's all anonymous.
Who's it from now?
So he always asks that. He always asks that. It's
He's gonna
anonymous.
slip up one day
So, and
tell
it's
me.
not the question you just asked about the 25-year-old
No.
self.
This is an
The
anonymous
emailed
question
in.
from an audience member that watches us. They've emailed it in to $10podcast@gmail.com, and they said this: Dear jabronis, I have a sibling that we just do not get along. They have been cutting me down since we've been kids. I am now 34 and they are 38. What should I do? I want to create boundaries, but I keep getting pressure from my parents. Help.
Wow, we're gonna need another podcast.
Not my sister. Ooh, I was worried I was
We're
gonna
gonna need
get
another
from my
podcast.
So I should lead off with this. We just a $10 podcast
Yeah.
over here. So
She just asked $1,000 question.
There's a lot to unpack here. One, I would tell you that I think most and everybody jump in. I've had a chance to kind of think about this question, so I'm going to take the first part of it. I do think that I think most therapists would say that healthy boundaries are healthy.
Boundaries are
Right, and boundaries are healthy. And sometimes you may have to put your parents, you may have to have a serious talk and say, I need some time from this person. And that can also help to mold them. That can help maybe that sibling to see that there's a pain there. You know, if you haven't had the chance
Yeah, it's
to
been
talk
34
about it.
years it's been happening, basically.
Well, and if you've not, maybe you haven't spoken up, maybe you
Yeah.
haven't had the chance to
Right.
tell them. So I would encourage you first to have you directly set everybody down and said, these are the things that really hurt me. And if they, go, oh, well, you're just a baby and all that, well, then you
Yeah.
need to start creating some boundaries, and healthy ones that ultimately your parents will have to just understand. You know, look, they're the ones that raised that knucklehead, you know, and so it's not your problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Family, you don't get to choose family.
Yeah.
You get to love them. And I think what we've talked about is love. I have a twin sister. I love her to pieces. But we did not see eye to eye on a lot until we become adults. I think as you mature and you see how valuable family really is, you start to put aside differences and find the ways you really connect. There's always going to be something you connect with your sibling, and focus on that. And the other stuff, hey, let's not talk about that. You know, that's kind of a trigger for me, but let's talk about what we need to. And then have more communication. More communication helps. The more I talk to my sister, the closer we get. So I think communication.
It's good.
Yeah,
just
very good advice.
A lot of times they don't even know what's in your brain. Unless they know.
Yeah.
But don't come viciously at them and say, "Hey,
good call.
I love you. You're my brother. You're my sister. I will always have you, and you always have me. We have each other. But let's talk more. Let's just text me every day. Call me. Some communication." And I think that helps a lot.
I've got a great brother, but from a parent standpoint, I understand why the parents, they get pressure, right? Because I want my kids to get along.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just get along.
Yeah.
Yeah, you normally gets better with age. Like same boat. I didn't get along with my sister, but you know, as we got older, you get.
Sometimes there can be a hurt in that sibling that we just don't know about.
Yeah, it might be.
Have you had an honest
them a little
conversation?
worse.
Have you put everybody together? Have you gotten on a phone call and talked about it? But I do think open communications is smart.
And especially after decades.
Yeah.
In business, one of my least favorite excuses for anything is we've always done it that way.
Yeah.
But right?
Yeah.
But it happens in families too.
Yeah.
If that 8-year-old kid and that 4-year-old kid have that relationship where the big one's always cutting on the little one, 30 years later it's still happening. That's the way it's always been done. That doesn't make it right.
No,
and I'm betting that the person who asked the question, the younger one, may not have ever said, "Hey, what you just said hurts my feelings."
You're exactly right. I think you're probably right. You're probably right.
It's the only logical thing, unless that 38-year-old
just doesn't care, right? It's just a real
Right.
Vindictive and malicious and all that kind of stuff. And then it is fair to set a boundary. Right?
Well, sometimes you can't. That's where you got to. I think that's where the boundaries have to come in.
That's right.
Originally, I'm thinking sometimes you do have to set some boundaries, but I do think you have to have some transparency. You got to have some open, clear communication to start with. You know, because it is somebody you've grown up. I mean, when you grow up in a home, and especially with siblings, there's only a handful of people that know what it's like to be with your dad. You know, to have that dad and to have that mom and have those situations. And it's like being a foxhole. You know, when somebody becomes a brother in like war. You know, I mean, my brother has guys that he served with in the Marine Corps that he considers brothers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they've slung the same mud, you know,
right,
and seen it all together, and I get
they
it.
have to probably, you know,
Yeah,
the
they probably.
I would say get a nice bottle of wine. The two of them sit down on the beach with a bottle of wine or something and just talk.
Yeah, I think
watch
you do
the
have
sunset,
to have honest
just chill out,
and have an attitude of forgiveness. I'm trying to live in this forgiveness world.
It's a word,
but only because it was my dive into prayer. Like, how do I really pray? And so I'm reading the Lord's Prayer, and He's like, "Forgive others as I forgive you." And I'm
that's
like,
a big one.
Can we live? Can we
one.
as Christians really live in a perpetual state of forgiveness? And because we actually have that power, the other person doesn't. We forgive.
So I think I think we might.
Can we live in that?
I think we could get close, but I don't think we'll ever get fully there.
But we pray that we can be doing that.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I agree.
You know what? It's such a great point because that is built into the question itself. Your viewer, listener, would not have asked the question if they didn't want to repair the
I think
relationship
you're right.
and reconcile.
Right. Yeah.
So the spirit of forgiveness is there. They just need a little
maybe
nudge.
a nudge in the right way. So if you're listening out there, if you were listening out there, look, we're praying for you and we love you. And I know that's a tough situation. I think we've kind of covered that. And so this is the part I like to say, listen up, kids. Listen up, kids. That's a wrap with Rich Sanders. You may be building a business or just trying to be faithful with your paycheck. His message is clear. Work hard. Give big. Don't separate your faith from your finances. Go and follow Rich at the Christian Capitalist Podcast and keep living a story worth telling, or, don't. I mean, what the hell do I know?
What does he know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.